freaking morning, guys. What's going on? What's cracking? Sorry if it's like a little dark in here right now. It is fucking freezing here in Pennsylvania. It is exactly 10 degrees outside this morning. It is cold. It is miserable. I'm gonna run a few errands here this morning, then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this video, kind of like usual, except I wanted to do a little bit different. I gotta go get fuel. I gotta go get some cigar, whatever this thing is. Cigar burner looking thingamajiggy. I gotta fill that up with fuel. I've got some clothes I need to take to the Goodwill. Try to do some fun stuff here this morning to get all my chores done, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes. One other thing I wanted to show you guys before getting to the meat and... I keep saying meat potatoes. What the... Why do I keep saying that? I never say that. Like, why do I keep saying that? Whatever. One thing I wanted to show you guys is this. This is a watch I got a couple years back, and I always forget that I have it. It is a fossil watch that MVP Motorsports made, or had made, good lord, 15 years ago. And it's actually the dial, the face of it is an exact replica of a TRD face for a Toyota Supra. So this look, that's exactly how the TRD RPM rev meter is on a Supra. Now, obviously, telling time-wise, it's pretty much useless, but the coolness factor is on a level of 20. I just went on their website. They still have these for sale, so I just wanted to mention it. And no, this is not sponsored or whatever. I just think this thing's cool, and I know there's probably a ton of people out there that have no idea, just because I know MVP hasn't pushed these things in a long time. So I just figured, you know, MVP helped me out years ago. I figured I'd shout him out here, and yeah, go pick up a watch. I think these things are pretty cool. I'm not sure if Dusty still runs things over there or not, but yeah, these things are pretty freaking sweet. I'm driving the MR2, but I hate not having a mailbox. No mailbox at our house. Done, out mail. Ugh, let's get my fat ass back in here. Let's listen to some Black Betty and go get me to the cigar shop now. Stopped and got me some Zippo fill-up for the old butane lighter there. By the way, guys, this short shifter is freaking awesome. So happy I have this now. The car shifts so much better. All right, let's get to the old Goodwill. All right, well, I just dropped everything off at Goodwill there, which is not normally a place I like to give to or drop stuff off to. I'll explain down the road about that, but there's a reason behind it. Than a lot of charities in general and stuff, because a lot of charities take a lot more money than they should, which kind of pisses me off, but that's a day for another story. I'll talk about that another time. But last place, let's get some fuel so I can heat the damn garage. Guys, back in the garage here now. One thing I've got to do also, I've got to get this up on Jackson. I've got to change the oil. I didn't realize it's been a minute since I've changed the oil in this, and I kind of want to show you guys a big issue I'm having with this car. I didn't realize it was this bad until I looked under it. I have to drop the motor no matter what, but good reason I'm doing it, because I'm going to show you a couple things that aren't too aren't too perfect about the car. So just went and got some oil. I got my pan here. Stupidity though. So I always use Brad Penn oil, whatever, if you guys are wondering before we get into it here. This is an older version. They just switched to these new bottles, so it's the same thing, but that's their old bottle. They got bought out by a bigger company, so they don't call it Brad Penn now. They just call it Penn grade. Marketing, I guess. But my dumb ass went and got oil, forgot filter. So I usually stock up, and I thought I had extra, and I didn't. I always use pure-related filters. Some people might not like them, whatever. I change the oil every 1,000 miles or so in the Supra, because it's a lot easier to change your oil than it is to replace a motor. And for the MR2, I usually change it every 2,000 or 3,000, depending, just because, again, rather just be safe than sorry. Oil's cheap, motors are not, and all the work involved with it. So got me some extra filters here. Gonna go ahead and throw the extra ones up top there, and let's go ahead and change this oil and get this bitch up in the air. Guys, if I haven't said this before, I'm gonna say it again. I fucking hate cold weather, absolutely hate this. But let's get underneath the car now. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about, where like, well, here's the first big hint. This right here, I have to keep under the car at all times. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's oil. That's oil everywhere. So let me show you how bad it's leaking and show you where it's leaking from, and it's, yeah, let's just show you. So first little look there, oh, that's a little wet, and then you look a little bit closer and closer. Everything is covered. Everything. Every fucking thing is covered in oil. That's covered in oil. This is covered in oil. The shaft is covered in oil. Look at this. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Like, it shouldn't be this bad. So Eventually I'm gonna have to, I mean, wow. Look at this here. This non-natural light of this really fucks things up, but look at this, is all, look at my oil pan. Completely freaking covered, bro. Like, this is insane how much it's leaking. It kills me inside, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and get the old filter off here, which actually doesn't look that bad. Get the plug off, which is covered in oil, of course. And well, let's drain the oil of this thing. Perspective for how bad it is, oil. That's all oil on the back of my, and I just put those on. Holy shit. Alright, so this is turning into a lot bigger crisis. And I thought, good thing I have a cheap eBay exhaust on this thing. I'd be pretty upset if this was a name brand exhaust. This is insane. How? Like, this was just swapped a couple years ago. Did they not replace any of the fucking seals on this thing? This is not right. Like, this is just plain insanity right now. What the fuck, man? Alright, I'm done cursing. I'm gonna change the oil here and then we'll maybe get into this a little bit more. Definitely going to be using gloves for this. Like, guys, this is insane. It shouldn't be that bad. Like, how did that even happen? Like, whatever. Just, God, stupid stuff like this irritates the heck out of me. Get this cap off. See, this thing can be, especially because the motor's still warm. And my hands are about half wet. These screw caps, man, that's the only thing that sucks versus having like a Supra, which is like a pop top or whatever. These can be a pain in the butt to get off. Had to get out the old vice grips to get that out. That kind of sucked. And look, you can see the O-ring actually stayed there, which should have removed with it. So here is the top, which is, this is just an eBay one, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, just screws in, pretty freaking basic. Nothing special about it, to be honest. Just a TRD replica. While that last little bit drains out there, guys, if you guys saw me there, I did that little montage. I was moving around so much because usually leaning up against the car to like hold the pan up and stuff, but I can't touch anything because everything's covered in fucking oil. I can't wait to drop this, put all new seals on. Literally $250 in seals would have saved all this. I'm not sure why it's leaking so bad, but I'm replacing every single seal on this, rear main seal, front main seal, pan, whatever. I'm gonna replace every seal on this, put Toyota FIPG, do it the right way, and fix all these damn issues. All right, next up here, guys, we gotta change the filter. And if I haven't mentioned before, I really need a fucking lift. It's going to happen here, just putting money where I can. God, there's always something I'm spending money on, but you know how I am, guys. I'm always gonna be improving and doing more and more. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get this filter off.
A little bit. It's so interesting that we're doing this, and you know, I'm so excited. We're talking the non-boosted bald eagle type of power today. Something we've never encountered before. Well, you know, open it up there.
All right, guys, that's it. We are done now. I gotta take this funnel out, which I've got crammed in there, and it's about to drip oil. Don't you dare! Don't you do it! Don't you do it, Ricky Bobby! Got it. Haha. Do this one, and should be good. All right, guys, so the title of the video, I just kind of want to go over because I'm getting a lot of people like, hey, what's going on with the MR2? Ryan, you're doing something with the MR2. Where's this turbo series, Ryan? So today I'm going to kind of speak on that. As you saw there, I was driving it, having fun, change the oil in the car, get things freshened up a little bit, and just kind of go over it. But as you guys saw there, this thing is leaking oil like crazy. Like every orifice of this motor, if I said that right, is leaking oil. So what I need to do is drop it, replace all the seals, and go through everything. But the plans are for it to do just that. I plan on taking the motor out, I plan on staying with the Gen 3 3SGT. I do want to go to coil packs on it, standalone from Link ECU. I'm going to go to a VRF turbo kit. They're based out of the West Coast. We're going to do a Borg-Warner S200 series turbo. I'm not sure which one exactly yet, but we're going to do that because I love my Borg-Warners. And I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just that much of a Borg-Warner fan. I could easily go Garrett, but again, it's a little bit more money. And I've been so loyal to Borg-Warner, and being honest, I'm going to try and contact them a little bit more here and see if they will help out the series some. I'm very loyal to it. My new setup is going to be using a Borg-Warner for the Supra, so I want to keep going down that path. The turbo kit on it is going to be a VRF top mount, so it won't be a bottom mount turbo. It'll be a T3 flange using a Turbo Smart wastegate, and I'm going to use the same exhaust and everything I have now because I really like that loud noise. One thing I want to do differently than most though, I would like to recirculate the wastegate into the downpipe, just because everything's already shooting out the back as it is. Having that screamer pipe, I guess, is cool, but I'd rather just circulate it to the exhaust. That's just my opinion. A couple other things we're going to do is I'd like to update the interior a little bit more. I do have the gauge pod coming from Auto Extrude to fix where the gauges are just kind of sitting on the column right now. If you guys saw that, they're just kind of dangling there right now, so it's not ideal. There's a couple other things we need to get done, some items I'd like to paint. There's little things that are wrong with the interior that aren't perfect, but you know, that's stuff I can work with. A big part of this has been help from TCS Motorsports, the team over there at Hux Racing, and also Rich from VRF Design. He has been a big integral part of me going into this. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be going to this new turbo kit. Just plain simple. I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for Rich. He's the one that's kind of like, you know, hey man, I'm willing to help out. Let's do something together. So the goal is to use their VRF top mount turbo kit. I don't think there's that many people running it yet. I think he sold a couple of them. Don't quote me on that. But I'm gonna do a true build series and show the quality of the piece. He uses Schedule 10 for all the piping and stuff. It just looks very high end. It looks very nice. With the Link ECU and stuff too, he really wants me to go to his intake manifold, which is a side feed intake manifold that uses an electronic throttle body. So I no longer have to worry about that cable run the whole way through the car. I believe he uses a Subaru STI pedal, because they're a drive-by-wire pedal, to control everything, and he uses a Dodge throttle body, which I believe is like 85 millimeters or 80 millimeters. With his setup, so it gives me cruise control back and all that good stuff. I don't have to have an external box or anything. Everything's controlled through there. Traction control can be controlled through the flap. Now, it gives me much more versatility. A lot more things are better about it in that way. It's come a long way. It used to be the old throttle bodies were like this massive thing from GM with this big, I don't know what you would even call it. Like, I guess the motor comes off the side. It was huge. The Dodge one is not. It's very sleek. Has this little black box on the side you can barely notice. It's really no different than the big throttle bodies from, like, you know, was it Reese Millen Racing or whatever, or was it RMR that makes it, or RMM that makes it? And they're a massive throttle body. So yeah. So I just want to give you guys a quick rundown of what things that are going on. I really do love the car. I know I've talked about selling it and stuff, but fixing a couple things, I've really fallen back in love with the car again. It really, I don't know, it just hits a special piece with me. The car has done a lot. I had a lot of time invested in it now. I flew the whole way up to Cincinnati, Ohio to buy this thing. So to me, it's just so much time and effort. I just feel like this is the right thing to do. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope you stay for the build series for this. I hope you come and see the new build series for this too. I've got both cars going at the same time. This is fun as shit for me. I absolutely love doing this. Build series for this is gonna be done. Then we'll have this one up after that. And I really wanna buy the new Supra, even though everyone's hating on it. We'll see how that goes. Depends what it looks like in person. Pictures are one thing, seeing it in person is another. I know the wheelbase is shorter, but that's a day for another story. Thank you guys very much. Do me a big favor, go check out the Pure Function website. I've got new hats, hoodies, all sorts of cool stuff, all linked down below. Thank you guys very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace! Goes aside from my soul.